guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber Foster Kyuujin Cosplay, and today we're back to you guys with Viking! Episode 7, Season 6, Part 2, or Episode 17, Season 6.
You can just say Episode 16, 17,
17, Season 6. We're almost close to the end, guys.
Yes, we watched these episodes in batches of 2s, so this is the second to last viewing session of Vikings. We've been on this show for so long by now. It's gonna be sad when we end this. I usually, it's my thing to cry at the end of the last episode, especially if it's really good and main characters die. So expect tears. It's gonna happen, I'm telling you. In any case, last episode, what happened?
Well, from what I remember, they're going back to Wessex!
Yeah,
Told ya!
Basically, Ivar and Witchcraft went back to Kattegat and they didn't really know where to next. You know, they didn't really know where they were supposed to go. They were settling under Harold, and even though they didn't really want to, fighting amongst themselves felt like something they'd done before. You know, it's just more of the same. So what next? Ivar had a vision. Well, he talked to the seer, and you know, he motioned for the piece of chess. No, that was it chess that they played. Anyway, the piece that he kept from his match with Alfred.
What's the name? Piece of Falf. Ah, sorry. That's an old chess game, yeah.
And, anyway, he got the piece and he remembered Alfred, and then he watched everyone else just, you know, lose themselves in alcohol and play strategy games instead of being on the battlefield actually fighting these strategies.
Like the old Viking ways.
Yeah, so they made a great speech about how, you know, they were Vikings and they needed to keep raiding and they couldn't just settle on trade, and everyone was on board, so they are gonna go back to Wessex and have that one last fight.
I need my one last battle, guys.
And for Ubba, things are not looking good. People are starting to die. There's a whole thing about, you know, religion, like whose gods are actually gonna help them all, and stuff, and who's gonna lose their faith first. There was a great scene where he tried to prove that he still believed in his gods, when, you know, you've got the other Athelstan who's just completely, you know, he's blindly following his own god, and he doesn't seem afraid or anything. He knows he's gonna find land somewhere, and Ubba is just losing it slowly. So hopefully they can find land before that happens. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so let's watch the rest, guys.
Yeah, let's jump into episode 17.
17.
Let's go. I did not think they were gonna go back to Wessex, but if we are to have one last battle, I'm not mad about it. And hopefully we get to see some characters that we left behind.
You know,
it has been a while.
Why I was so
convinced
that it would go back to Wessex. Like, we started the show with Wessex. We needed to end the show with Wessex somehow, you know.
Yeah,
like to close the
poetic
close
ending.
the loop, you know.
I have decided to leave you in charge of Kattegat. Officially, you and Ingrid will rule in my absence.
Yeah, I don't know what Ingrid is gonna think of
I
this.
decided to appoint you. Thank you.
I think she definitely disagrees.
Why are you doing this? Things are coming to a conclusion. What do you mean, coming to a conclusion? I'm not entirely sure, but I can feel it in my bones.
Well, it's almost the end of the show.
Everyone's gonna die. I shouldn't be laughing. If it actually happens, I'll be really sad.
Don't jinx it.
I don't see them winning this war though, so like, if they go like army versus, you know, Alfred's army, I don't think they will win, so I wonder if any of them is gonna come back. Oh boy, hey! Who was left here? Alfred? Was there anyone else?
His wife, maybe his unborn child too. The wife of his late brother.
Well, now he will have a child though, is that him? I prefer with this short hair.
We thank God, in His mercy, that He has protected Wessex for so long. We pray to Almighty God to give us the strength to repel and slaughter the heathen.
They're hyping him up so much. They don't want him to. They don't want us to see him right away.
I want to see how he's doing with as a ruler.
Hey!
He seems tired.
Well, he's grown. He's aged. He's been a king for a little while.
We must flush the king out of his stronghold, force him to fight us at a place of our choosing.
Which would be?
Here. Eddington. I remember it. Ragnar carried me up the steep hill beyond the town to the ramparts of an ancient fort. Looking down the valley below, he said, "This is a perfect place for a battle."
Oh man, we're okay. Callbacks.
What are you thinking?
I was thinking, I hope he doesn't drown.
I do not think he's happy with the idea of Harold ruling over him.
No.
But then is he gonna do anything about it?
Accident can happen.
Yes, in war especially. A slip of the sword.
Harold is gone. Likely never to return. And she never loved him.
That doesn't mean.
Yes, it does.
You think she would get with you? You fucking sold her.
I make myself king. And you will be my queen.
Are you sure you really want to marry a witch?
Yes. I think it would be very exciting.
I have a feeling she's gonna grow tired of being used as a broodmare. Or a way for them to get the crown when she
Take
wants
off
to
your
be in
shirt.
power.
Right, my lord.
It feels so weird to me to see Alfred back. It's been so long!
My lord king, I bring most urgent news. A new Viking army is approaching Wessex with
the
at least
same.
200 boats. They are Norwegians, the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok.
Well, the ones you didn't make an alliance with.
True.
Because, like, you would feel betrayed or something, but I'm like, no. The guy who shook your hand is not there.
Our scouts tell us that the Viking army is encamped about here. It's possible that they have plans to meet with Viking settlements or warbands along the Mercian border or elsewhere. Their army is far too big to ignore, but we should try to engage it on our terms. We should monitor their movement, but at the same time, prepare our own forces to move here, to Chichester. We have a large garrison there, we have access to the sea.
I feel like a proud mama.
Well, you learned well, so
Yes.
nice.
What kind of message does it send out to the rest of Wessex that the king is abandoning his royal villa?
He's being careful.
I suppose it sends a message of comparative weakness.
But
And
he's being
unfortunately,
careful.
We are weak. We are surrounded by enemies, and now we face another great Viking army.
I can't bear it. I can't bear the fact that it's the same Vikings that killed your grandfather and your father.
It's like
And now
history.
here they are again. They will never go away. They must always win. Even when they are defeated, they win. Well, whenever they are defeated in battle, the Vikings always offer to make a deal. They swear in their arm rings, or they even agree to conversion as Christians, just so that they can make the deal. An exchange of hostages, some land for peace. You've been so keen on peace, you've rushed in and agreed to their terms.
So no more peace.
But for the most
He
part,
has
they
done
don't
that.
mean it. They don't really convert. They don't care if the hostages they provide have to die for a broken promise.
It's kind of true. Ubba is no longer a Christian, so that's this. And even though they lost the war, they did keep a settlement in England, so...
Basically, they don't care. And you, my love, have always been their victim. And I fear the same thing will happen again.
So what, is he gonna choose to have no mercy? Fight them straight on and just kill everyone?
No more deal? That wouldn't be
I
the
bet-
Alfred that we know, but
To be fair, though, the Vikings are not here for a deal this time.
whatever. No.
No. And it would fit with what we were saying, you know, how Harold feels like it's the end of something, you know, so if Alfred were to fight them,
She's gonna poison him?
I feel like she is. But yeah, if Alfred were to attack them and have no mercy and not make any deals or anything, it could be the end of this army. This doesn't feel like a good spell or
I
anything.
drive it into the eye of Vigvather. I drive it into the eye of Valvather. Yes. Do your work.
I have like Shadow Baby feels from this.
In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. O God, be not far from me. O my God, make haste for my help. Incline thine ear unto me and save me.
Being a good king is being merciful and, you know, make alliances and be cautious, but it also means sometimes you need to fight back and be just as ruthless as your enemies to send a message. His wife had a point when it came to, you know, him always bending for the Vikings
True.
when they keep coming back and don't give a shit.
I may be speculating, but you need to find the right balance between being a merciful king and being a strict ruler, you know?
So the heathen shall fear the name of the Lord, and all of the kings of the earth thy glory.
It just took a turn. Ivar is not in his element right now.
Be careful, Ivar,
Yeah.
please.
He's shaking on his legs like this. Not. He could end up being a prisoner of war once again.
Take it down!
Oh, okay. Brother! You... It's sorry. Is he gonna be taken?
Please no, please no.
Yeah, no, we should trust in his fighting abilities. He's just that good. Ooh.
Nice.
I'm glad to see him back fighting, you know? He's always been a good fighter.
All of them were being good fighters.
It took a few seconds of this for him to find his spark again.
What took you so long?
Yeah, but I don't think that he liked that because they surprised him.
It's not what he expected, maybe. And we're far from the Ivar who just stood in front of the enemy screaming like, "You can't kill me!" But he changed a lot from then.
Shit.
Can we find land, please? Jesus.
I'm wondering how Charlotte is doing in
Oh my god.
Greenland.
They actually look good compared to the others. Land? Please? Please!
I hope you're proud of yourself.
Proud. In what way?
Leaving the ancestral home of the kings of Wessex. Without even a fight.
Ellsworth, they are just buildings. Surely you understand that the spiritual home of our people is vested not in a place, but in a person. It is only important that Ivor does not capture me, for I am Wessex.
It is sad to leave the ancient home of the kings of Wessex, but it is right.
Sometimes it's more wise to retreat, know when to fight your battles, you know?
How are you feeling?
Oh, boy.
What is it? Eric!
It's my eye. I can't see.
What's happened to you?
I don't know.
If something like that happens to you and you don't know why,
Look at the witch.
look at the witch. Then what else is gonna happen?
Both? Axe.
Both eyes? It's a bit sad, but then he made his bed. He has to lie in it.
Eric. What is it?
Oh my god, Eric, are you alright?
I'm blind. I'm blind.
It's so like clear that it's her, that she's behind this. It doesn't just happen.
Can we say that he won't see her coming next time?
Jesus.
They need to see some land.
Yes, yes, yes. Something. Land, please. This is not the look of someone who didn't see shit. It's America. Fuck yeah. Yep.
Look. Don't scare me, Ubba. I can't see anything.
He must be blind.
That's Eric. Fucking roll! Woohoo! Psych, they just went back to Greenland. Honestly though, at this point, any land is good. Ah, and it actually looks great.
You are right. Everything that you said was true. I should have believed you. Everybody should have believed you. Forgive me. You don't need forgiveness, Ubba, son of Ragnar. Because I know deep inside you always believed. That is why we are here.
Aw, guys. Oh man, great ending.
Finally found the golden land.
I was thinking this episode, even though there was one fight, this episode has been slow, you know, just we've had several episodes like this before where they basically just place their pawns and make sure that the game is set for the last act or something.
Yeah.
But great ending. A lot of emotions. I'm glad that they finally found our home. So I don't know what type of welcome they're gonna get because the land is habited. So yeah, we'll see. But at least they're not gonna die at sea. Hopefully the baby is still alive.
At least.
The makeups were terrifying for some of them. And then the main cast just looked perfect. But everyone else looked dying.
Main characters, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad it was I mean, they got close. Like you will never forget these people that you were on the voyage with, and it's gotta be rewarding, you know, it's in those times, it's when you have nothing and you're dying and you're at your worst that faith needs to be the strongest, basically. So
How many died when it was straight at sea?
I don't know, they'll probably say later. If they don't, a lot. Some, maybe.
Because
it looked like a lot of them were dead, but then suddenly a lot of them were looking fine when they found the land. So I was like, maybe not as much as we thought died.
Because I know for sure that Bjorn's daughter died, that's for sure.
Oh, she wasn't even there.
A son and a wife died. I only know about those three, but I don't know about the rest.
We'll see. Maybe they'll mention it. We'll see how many of them are left when they get to land. But at least they'll be fine.
I don't know for you, but since they found the land, I just can't imagine Shuttle still sitting on his whale saying, "I'm the king!"
He's lost. He's lost. He's gonna try to survive on his own with his wife if they don't kill each other before anything happens. And then he'll probably die alone. He made his bed and now he has to lie in it, just like Eric. Eric, who has been trying to play a game with everyone in this fucking town, he's been trying to play Gunhild, he's been trying to play Ingrid, he's been trying to play Harold. We did talk about his motivation. I said before that I thought his motivation was that he wanted safety. No matter what could give him a sure place with, no more stress and no more wariness as to who might kill him in the next day.
Yeah.
He'd be happy. I think because he found this place in Kattegat, his ambition grew a lot. He saw a possible way for him to not only get safety, but get power. And with Harold leaving, it just became an opportunity for him to try with Ingrid. He did try with Gunhild before, and he almost managed to make something work out of that. But then Gunhild killed herself.
Yeah, she was
Ingrid,
just done, so yeah.
With Ingrid, though, and then he saved Harold, knowing that Harold was going to owe something to him and maybe trust him more, which he sort of did. I think Harold definitely saw that there was something going on between the two, and then he decided to just fuck off because... The thing is, I don't think Harold, he was losing himself playing house, looking for a crown, looking for a wife.
Yeah.
He was playing house and he didn't like that. He lost himself in there, and then he got the opportunity to go back to Wessex and raid, and he latched onto that, and he was like, no matter what they do when I'm gone, I'll focus on my own happiness for once and something I can actually get for myself. Not something that depends on other people, but something that will bring me joy and will prove that I'm a true Viking. I think this is what he decided, because he definitely saw that thing, and he was saying, well, I've never had luck in love or anything, and I'm like,
like you said, I think that in his mind he just said, fuck
it. Yeah, I'll go have fun raiding and die a hero or something. I'll be remembered for that, and because he never managed to make it work with his marriages, so. This time, at least, he chooses his own happiness.
I don't know about you, but do you think that the way that she just cursed him with her magic, is it fair because that's her own weapon, or is it a coward way to attack someone?
If she tried to attack him, and it's not like he doesn't know, he knew she was a witch. She said, you feel okay marrying a witch and stuff? He definitely knows, and it's his mistake for trusting her. I'm not saying it's not cowardly, but then she doesn't fight. She's not a fighter. And she uses tricks. She's always used tricks. So if she was a warrior and she decided to take the easy way out and use a spell, I'd be like, well, it's kind of shitty, but then she's always been like that. She's always used those tricks, and he knew it. It's his mistake for trusting her. I think it's the worst. Oh, I need to answer that. Sorry about that. Phone call. Now, where was I? Oh, so yeah, Herrick. I feel like it's his, I don't know if he thought that she was naive, or if he thought he had power over her even though she was in a good position. That's been her thing. She also wants security. She also wants protection. And now she's in the best place possible. And he put in her mind the idea that maybe Harold was not going to come back, which I feel like he's not going to come back at all, because even Ivar over there is saying, his days are numbered.
Yeah, we might see a loose axe someday.
Or he's just going to die, in a fight. That's possible. I have a feeling none of them are coming back, because I don't think they win over Alfred. There's a reason why he's called Alfred the Great. There's a reason why people remember him for being a great king. If he had lost his kingdom a few years after, becoming king, we would not remember him as Alfred the Great.
What do you think about what his wife said?
She has a point.
Even when the Vikings are losing, they don't really lose.
I love Alfred's way of ruling. I'm not going to argue against that. But I also know that sometimes you need to fight. You need to be just as
You need to show strength?
Yeah, you need to show strength. Ruling through fear has never been my go-to, and I will stand by that. But then, if you have enemies who, like his wife at a point, every time the Vikings showed up, when they lost the war, they just, made a deal. They still gained lands. They still gained, alliances. They always left with something. Or people that were important on the other side ended up dying. Like, it's always been about them winning, or if they lose, they still find a way to win. She has a point, and it's true that Alfred has given them a lot. He's given them a settlement, and they still decided to come back. And it's not any Viking. It's the Sons of Ragnar. I know it's not Ubba, but he probably doesn't know, like, who's behind this. Like, he has no way of knowing who's actually behind the army. What he knows is that he gave them a land, and they still chose to come back to fight. So I'm like, at one point, you gotta
stand your ground.
Stand your ground and give them a clearer message that they're not gonna be played with.
That's it.
Something like that.
That's enough.
That's enough. But in French Canadian, it sounds brute. But still, I feel like but at the same time, leaving the ancestral home and stuff, it's not ideal because you are showing weakness. But then at the same time, it's showing that, making sure that he doesn't get captured is also of the utmost importance.
I can understand that it is true that sometimes a place can represent something really, really huge. Like, for example, can you imagine if
they had left Paris, for example?
Yeah, but technically they did invade inside Paris, right?
Yes, but they never managed to make them flee.
Yeah, true. But yeah, if they fled Paris and the Viking took hold in Paris, that would have been a huge blow for Francia. And it might be the same thing with the ancestry, the oldest house of the kings of Wessex.
But then Paris represented the hope of the people more than the king, whereas he's got a point when he says that he represents the hope of Wessex. So as long as, sometimes you'll say, as long as the king is alive, and we had that in Wessex before, when his father left at birth. In the ancestral home, they lost the ancestral home, but then they came back and fought and just won over their country again. True. So sometimes the king being alive is more important than, and actually always the king being alive is important. But sometimes, yes, it's true, sometimes the place means just as much as the king. But in this case, I would say the king means more than the place, because he's not retreating forever. He's just, being intelligent about it. The message that it sends, though, is kind of weak, but we'll give him his chances. Like, he's being careful. He's facing a guy who, has been through a lot of battles, and he's got cunning. He's really intelligent. So Ivar is not to be taken lightly. So we'll see what Alfred does. I'm pretty sure they're gonna win this anyway. So, but he needs to realize that if he wants this to stop eventually, he will have to put his foot down and show strength. Now, how that's gonna happen, we'll see. Maybe he will, get to that valley like Ivar wanted, and they'll have their fight there. And he'll still win with sheer strength, but
I just hope that Ivar is not gonna underestimate the Wessex army, because he was surprised that they decided to
be bold enough to
fight, to give the first blow, basically. But because what I used to like and I still like about Ivar is his great mind. That he's a great strategist, and he's able to adapt. During the battle, so I don't want to lose that.
Maybe he doesn't know how the armies evolved in Wessex ever since they came here. Their thing has always been that the other army, they're cowards. They fear us. They don't. They have discipline, but then when we fight them and we scream and we show them how the devils that we truly are, they freak out. And I'm like, for once they attacked first, and it's not the first time actually, but when all falls down on the impression you give to the enemy and that doesn't work, well, you're gonna have a fair fight. That's what it means. You're gonna have to face an army who grew knowing what Vikings were like.
Yeah. Because
these guys, they fought Vikings before probably. They know what Vikings are like, and so the element of surprise and the sheer, the legend behind it is not there anymore. So
compared to the first time that is they've seen Vikings, yeah, these guys see them come, meh.
Well, reputation, Bjorn showed it perfectly. You know, reputation works a lot when it comes to, you know, putting fear in the enemy. And fear in the enemy helps win or lose a battle sometimes. So if the army fears you and they back, you know, they hesitate when you ask them to do some stuff. So that's your opportunity to fight back and win this. So when it's not, you know, it's not a battle of strength in this case. They have a huge army. It looks like, you know, Alfred's army is not as big as it could have been because he is surrounded by enemies. He's been fighting battles too. So number could have been important in this case, but then fear could have finished them. And he's showing fear by backing away, which is why his wife doesn't like that. He's showing weakness when he already has a weak army. So we'll see how he can turn the tides, but fear, the reputation of the enemy, and and numbers are what's important in a battle, and the cunning, the strategy, it helps too. But
still can't believe that I didn't catch on that the Vikings were the ones to burn down the farms and trying to install fear, because let's be honest, that would have been a great move for Alfred's army to just try to burn every resources for the Vikings.
I don't agree. Well, sort of, but then at the same time, it would mean burning the houses of your small folk, of your people. What kind of king would be appreciated after that?
No, but I know, but you move your small folk, you burn
but
down
then
the
after
resources.
the war,
you build up again, you know?
You'd burn the crops of your people and be like, after the war, you can go back to your burnt lands.
I know,
I'll be eating like a king. You can suffer.
I know, but technically...
No, it's not a good idea. I see your point, but not like that. It's not a good idea to do it like that. Unless you have absolutely no other choice. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Your people would hate you for that.
Okay, never mind.
It's the other army that wouldn't care about, you know, burning down the stuff, because then Alfred doesn't have resources. It's his resources. So making the small folk fear you, again, fear, making them fear you and spread the word will make the enemy cower.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was still a good episode. We know where they're going. There's going to be a fight. I can't wait for it. I don't want anyone to die, but then I do have a feeling that the show is not going to end with them winning.
People will die. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Depends just when.
I'll fucking cry again. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is on Patreon already. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't, wait for the next one. Will be held on YouTube next week, guys.
You cannot speak English today.
Wait for the next one next week. All right.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.